All right, I know I'm very late to this topic, but everybody knows about the assassination attempt that happened on Donald Trump. And hang on. At least if you're in the US. I mean, even if you're outside of the US, you probably heard about it, but this is a big kind of issue for us, a big deal right now because, you know, this is one of our probably going to be our future president, seeing that Joe Biden sucks. And I mean, he sucks too. But it just seems to be that they're in the favor of Donald Trump right now, and he was likely to be our next president, and he just almost got assassinated. And some people don't think that's a big deal, but that doesn't happen to everyone. It doesn't even happen to every president. It's only happened to a few so far. And it's bringing up this issue of violence, right? And it's been an issue for as long as people have been on this earth, that violence has just been there, and it's been kind of an issue. And, my pastor was kind of talking about this, and he brings up the very good point that, you've probably heard a lot, but violence never solves the problem, right? Violence is just a measly, cowardly attempt to solve something, and it just usually causes even more issues as it goes on, right? It doesn't actually solve the problem. And pretty much all people know this. If you have a good conscience and a good heart, and you're not a completely evil person, then you kind of recognize that, right? You don't really believe that violence is actually the answer. And yet, so many people use violence like every day. And it's not in like the sense of murdering people or physically harming people, but they do these little harmful, violent things kind of to people. Like, for example, talking shit behind people's backs. That I would say is kind of a form of violence, because you're just, you're bringing down this person, and then, if they find out, then it does turn into a violent act. But just the act of talking behind people's backs, that's kind of a form of violence, at least in my opinion. That is definitely a form of violence. And anything like in that category, to that extent, that is all a form of violence, even if we don't like really look at it that way. And so, really, even though that we're so against, this outright violence, just, killing people and stuff like that, we're unable to see the little acts of violence that we commit every single day. And so, there's not too much to talk about. I could go in depth with this so much, but it wouldn't really add much to this video. So I just want to say that try to focus on not being so violent or acting out in anger, things like that. Because even though they're not huge, terrible things like trying to assassinate a future president, it's still not okay for you to do these in, the day-to-day. Because when you're doing that, that just kind of, I mean, obviously not just you, but like everyone around, when they all do that, it just kind of brings up this kind of violent atmosphere, right? You're kind of all, in angst and like ready to strike, so to say. So just try not to be so violent and angry towards each other. Yeah, that's all I'm coming to you guys with today. Sorry for posting late again. Life's been a little bit crazy recently, but hey, that's just how it is. I'm going to keep showing up for you guys, though. All right. God bless.